What was the secret Yoda kept hidden in plain sight? Yoda was an old mother. Hush your mouth. Oh, I'm just talking about Yoda. What's so special about being crusty? Simple. How many human-like entities had Yoda outlived in his 900 years? How many friendships had he made only to see them fall, if not to injury, then to sickness and old age? How many acquaintances and friends has he seen born and die over the span of 900 years? Oh, hell a lot, I'd say. And that's what we like to call effortless impermanence. He did not have to tell himself, he did not have to recite pithy quatrains or couplets to remember impermanence. He experienced it firsthand, viscerally, in his guts. How could that remotely be helpful? I mean, it's great if you want to be depressed, but how's that helpful? How does it fuel our letting go? Within the arena of the temporary, most everything feels trivial. It feels less graspable, less dramatic, less earth-shattering. Perhaps that is why the Buddhist Terton Dujum Lingpa wrote, being impermanent, everyone who is born will die. No, he did not write this. It's my feeling personally as a renegade Lama that he did not teach this so that we would just recite it hundreds of thousands of times, but actually we would recite it just a few times and then rest the mind in mindfulness and meditation, in Ati Yoga, in Dzogchen, and let this idea percolate within for the purpose of getting better and better at letting go. So what I'd like to do now is tie this up in a big red bow by sharing with you the 16th verse of the source text of Dzogchen. It is in the 6th century of the Common Era. It was composed in the Swat Valley of present-day Afghanistan by an individual known then as Prahe Vajra, or who the Tibetans would later refer to as Garab Dorje. The text can be translated into English as the total space of Vajra Sanfa. It's also translated into Tibetan as Dorje Sampa Namka Che. So let's chant. Attachment, anger, and ignorance arise from the path of enlightenment, total bodhi. The five sense objects of enjoyment too, all said to be the ornament of the Dharmadhata dimension. What? Simply this. Whatever we experience, whether we experience it very, very briefly or relatively longer, we are wired to notice it as we breathe in, thanks to the workings of our sympathetic nervous system. But also, as we relax into our exhalation, we're wired to release it, thanks to the workings of our parasympathetic nervous system. And so we might observe that which feels permanent and yet relax into its impermanence. And this could strengthen our peace. I look forward to chanting and meditating with you after approximately 40 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent more than 8 hours a day studying, practicing, and then reverse engineering each teaching and each technique of each sect of Buddhism so that you wouldn't have to. I play the Yoda to your Luke Skywalker so that you could become the person that your dog already thinks you are. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. So we're going to chant and meditate in harmony with Dojim Lingpa's Tesar Gondro. It was translated under the supervision of Chagdud Tulku and adapted as well as amplified by yours truly. So we've got 4 categories of recitations. Energy work, reminders of ideas, mindfulness and meditation, and mantra meditation. We're going to begin with energy work, also known as Anu Yoga. And since this superscription is the color of a white cumulus cloud, let's place our puckered palms overhead and chant. Oh, Majo Lama, please come to this crown. Oh, infallible, constant protector who knows all Dharma things. Oh, Majo Lama, please come to this crown. Oh, infallible, constant protector who knows all Dharma things. Oh, Majo Lama, please come to this crown. Oh, infallible, constant protector who knows all Dharma things. As children, our primary or secondary caregiver most likely bolted some training wheels onto our first bicycle, and although they were clunky, they got the job done. Similarly, this morning's first exercise of mindfulness is going to consist of silently and mentally reciting the 12 syllables, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. Similarly, this morning's first exercise of meditation will consist of silently and mentally reciting these 12 syllables during each exhalation, consisting of relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. So let's play with this together right now. We now come to our first sutra recitation, reminding us of the preciousness of our human life, thus nurturing the joyful enthusiasm which is the 6th fold of the Buddha's 8-fold path. Together, let's chant. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. Welcome to this morning's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about a Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. So, having recited that contemplation merely 3 times, we stop. We don't have to recite it for an hour or a week or a quarter or a year. Simply reciting it 3 times and then relaxing into the nature of mind is the Dzogchen way of rapid enlightenment. Let us now remove the first of 2 metaphoric training wheels and reduce our contemplative exercises from 12 syllables in length to merely 3. As we inhale, we could silently and mentally recite, "Notice this." And as we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite, "Relaxing." There will be times when it could feel like our circumstance or our body or our relationships or our mind is beating us up. When that happens, it can be helpful to play with labels, not for the purpose of changing our experience, but the purpose of benefiting from our experience, for the purpose of harnessing its raw, crackling, kinetic momentum energy and applying it to turn the wheels and gears of our metaphoric enlightenment machine. So, for instance, when we experience strong physical sensation, if we feel discomfort or pleasure in our body, we could play with the label sensation, relaxing. If we experience strong feelings, we might play with emotion, relaxing. When we find ourselves perhaps rehearsing our conversation or trying to problem solve spontaneously, we don't have to stop, but we can harness that momentum with the label cognition, relaxing. Same thing with memories, recollect, relaxing. And of course, flights of fancy, imagine, relaxing. Remember, it's not our job to perfectionistically do it as accurately and as quickly as possible. That's the path of madness. Our job is to remember this. We were born naked, screaming, and covered in filth. Life is messy. Give yourself permission to have a shallow learning curve. We come to the second Sutra recitation of impermanence, which is a key to the wisdom of letting go, the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Together, let's chant. Being impermanent, everyone who was born will die. 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 And now let us remove the second of 2 metaphoric training wheels, reducing the length of our contemplative exercise from 3 syllables to just 1. During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Now, in converting 3-syllable labels into 1-syllable labels, we're going to use require a measure of what's the word I'm looking for? Poetic license. So when we experience physical sensations, we could refer to them as form. When we experience their emotional counterparts, we could refer to them as feel. When we experience memories, we could refer to them using the preposition then. And when we experience flights of fancy, we could use the verb dream. Un momento, if you please. Let's hit this button over. Yeah. We come to the third sutra recitation pertaining to interdependence, which is a key to wishing love's second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. You see, my friends, we have two hands. We can use them to shove or to hug. We can use them to create pain or comfort. Hence, let's recite. The results of our virtuous and actions. Let's try this again. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. Now, I don't know about you, but I live in America where we see late stage capitalism running amok, where we see people being driven to homelessness and homelessness being criminalized and people turned into slaves, where they're in prison and they have to work or they're thrown into solitary confinement. So, yeah, it's pretty grim. And so there's a lot of pressure for us to be financially independent, not to be burdens on others. And for those of us who teach meditation for donation, it can be stressful. So when when I feel that stress, I label it as feel. So feel ease and harmony with my inhalation and exhalation. And that way those emotions are put to work. Now, if you're clever, you might ask, won't that just be ignoring the problem? Au contraire. The more we train in awareness and release, the more we cultivate love's centered spontaneity. When we allow centered spontaneity to guide our choices, utterances, and deeds, life works better. Now it's time for the fourth sutra recitation pertaining to stress, which can be a key to compassion's second fold of the eightfold path. The more we are honest with ourselves about the stress in our own lives, the stress in our own bodies, the easier it is for us to empathize with other people's stress, which can often be orders of magnitude greater. For the folks enduring genocide right now in Europe, in Africa, in the Middle East, this makes it easier for us to empathize and to sincerely wish for their safety and well-being. Let's chant. The three realms we experience as some sort of cycle or like an ocean of suffering. The three realms we experience as some sort of cycle or like an ocean of suffering. The three realms we experience as some sort of cycle or like an ocean of suffering. We come to the fifth sutra recitation pertaining to supplication, which could be a key to enthusiasm, the sixth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. Remembering this, may my mind turn toward Dharma. Remembering this, may my mind turn toward Dharma. Remembering this, may my mind turn toward Dharma. We come now to Sutra recitation, seeking refuge, a key to the right enthusiasm, the sixth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. Let's chant. From now until I reach a very height of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama whom embodies the three jewels. From now until I reach a very height of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama whom embodies the three jewels. From now until I reach a very height of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. As we breathe in, we can notice simply by as silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this. As we exhale, we can physically relax and mentally release as silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which is a synonym for relax. Welcome to this morning's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them? Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Remember, we do not play with labels in an effort to get rid of our experience, but rather to harness its kinetic energy. We come to the 8th Sutra recitation pertaining to the generation of conventional bodhicittas, right intention, the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Let's chant. From now until samsara is emptied, may I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings as if they have each been my kind mothers. From now until samsara is emptied, may I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. From now until samsara is emptied, may I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings as if they have each been my kind mothers. When you feel a strong physical sensation, whether it's pleasurable or painful, if you wanted to, you could silently and mentally recite form as you breathe in and ease as you breathe out. When you feel the emotional counterpart, you could silently and mentally recite feel, ease. We now cross the Rubicon between Sutra and Tantra with the mandala or universal offering, or imaginary offering, training in generosities, kindness of communication, conduct, and commerce, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. To perfect the 2 accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my lives of the 3 jewels. To perfect the 2 accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my lives of the 3 jewels. To perfect the 2 accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my lives of the 3 jewels. And now rest the mind. we return to Ana Yoga Tantra's energy work. Notice the superscription is written in the color of a fluffy cumulus cloud. Therefore, let's place our puckered palms overhead and chant. Dorje Sapa, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purifying my obscurations. Om Vajra Sattva. Dorje Sapa, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purifying my obscurations. Om Vajra Sattva. Dorje Sapa, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purifying my obscurations. Om Vajra Sattva. So, gonna share something controversial with you, not because I like to. I'm really not a shit disturber, but that's just how things work. Good old, most of us have not gotten to this age that we are now without at least hearing of Sturgeon's Law, which basically says 90% of everything is crap, including meditation instruction. Most meditation teachers come at meditation from a worldview that is rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, or cruel. Sometimes it's malicious, usually it's just out of lazy-mindedness, just mindlessly aping what they've seen their teacher do. The Dalai Lama warns about that in his book, The Path of Enlightenment. So, for those who are rigid-minded, metaphors are seen as literal statements. And so instead of looking at mantra meditation as a time to contemplate either awareness and letting go or love and letting go, they squander their time visualizing and trying to pretend things are different than the way they are, which is tragic. So the test of the teachings is not how many people agree with you. What then is the test of the teachings? The effect of the teachings upon your own mind and relationships and body and circumstance. The ultimate laboratory of the teachings is our own body and mind. Play with these teachings once every morning, once every evening, within 7 consecutive days. You should have enough experimental data to determine whether my perspective of these teachings are useful to you or a hindrance. Let's chant. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during or previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although compelling to the eye, is not graspable to the hand. So, one of the 14th Dalai Lama's late teachers or tutors was Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, who insisted that Tantra is based on sutra with which it must never contradict. Well, in sutra, we learn the 4 bases of mindfulness, which are the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. And we learn of the 2 truths, the first and second folds of the Eightfold Path, letting go and wishing love. So from when we allow those facts to inform our perspective of Maha Yoga or mantra meditation, we will view the archetype as an armature upon which to hang the very 8 different similes whose contemplation strengthens our wisdom and love. Let us come to the wisdom of letting go's Mahayoga Tantra, the first vision's mantra meditation, leapfrogging over circumstantial clinging. Let us place our hands in the puckered palm position overhead. How is it that as we inhale all calm and lots of circumstances could appear quite vivid? Yet as we relax into our purifying exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. So this is a ginormous, verbally recited, rhetorical question. This is a concise version of the same question, which we recite during our inhalation. What do we do during our exhalation? We physically relax as best we can while chanting this 6-syllable mantra. Om Vajra Sattva Hum 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 Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum. So we're practicing awareness and letting go. How is it that as we inhale all calm in bodies or forms could feel quite sensual? Yet as we relax into our purifying exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined archetype or item of light. So this archetype we're using is known as Dorje Sempa Yab Yum, or Diamond Mind Mother and Father, or Vajra Sattva Karma Mudra, which depending which language you want to use. Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum. Let's rest the mind. Welcome to this morning's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. So, allow me to quickly get you up to speed. Every time we inhale, we're wired to perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. We can get out of our way during our inhalation by silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this. During each exhalation, we're wired for physical relaxation and mental release. During each exhalation, we can step out of our own way by silently and mentally reciting the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym for relax. Let's place our puckered palms overhead and together chant this rather lengthy rhetorical question. How is it that as we inhale the interpersonal experience of common communication, our speech could be quite resounding? Yet as we relax into our purifying exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra of light. During our inhalation, we silently and mentally recite the concise version of the same question. During our exhalation, we physically relax as best we can while chanting this 6-syllable mantra. Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum. Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum. Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum. Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum. Puckered palms overhead. How is it that takes you? How is it that as we inhale we could perceive mind's common functions clearly? Yet as we relax into our purifying exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined seed-suitable hum of light. Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum. Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum, Vajra Sarva Hum. Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva. Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva, Om Vajra Sattva. Now we place our puckered palms before our sternum. Dissolving into light, I'm in my mother and father blend with me in experience of heart's oneness. Dissolving into light, I'm in my mother and father dissolve into me in experience of heart's oneness. Dissolving into light, I'm in my mother and father blend with me in experience of heart's oneness. Once again, puckered palms overhead, if you please. How am I like Dorje and altar in the sky in front of me? My rote Lama could appear in the form of Padmakara. How am I like Dorje and altar in the sky in front of me? My root Lama could appear in the form of Dorje of Padmakara. How am I like Dorje and altar in the sky in front of me? My root Lama could appear in the form of Padmakara. So let me take a moment to answer the rhetorical question. So this is Dorji Naljor. This naked woman comprised of red light. In a paradise comprised of light. And our heart is a mantra comprised of light. In the center of that mantra is a single syllable comprised of light. Now, what have our circumstances to do remotely like hers? Well, our circumstances are appearing, yet not graspable. Our bodies are sensual, yet not graspable. Our communication, our experience of the interpersonal is resounding, yet non-graspable. Our experience of minds, perceptions, emotions, intentions, reasonings, recollections, and imaginings are clear, yet non-graspable, as if they too were comprised only of light. Let's chant. Embodiment of all Buddhas of the 3 times most excellent Lama, I pray to you. Embodiment of all Buddhas of the 3 times most excellent Lama, I pray to you. Embodiment of all the Buddhas of the 3 times most excellent Lama, I pray to you. Hold me with your compassion in this and future lives, and in the world bless me always throughout the 3 times. Hold me with your compassion in this and future lives, and in the world bless me always throughout the 3 times. Hold me with your compassion in this and future lives, and in the world bless me always throughout the 3 times. So, in our previous mantra meditation, we contemplated awareness and letting go. Now we're going to contemplate love and letting go. We're still going to coordinate this love with the 4 bases of mindfulness: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. Let's keep our puckered palms before our sternum. May all circumstances or lots of all beings know have the safety, good fortune, or boon. As for Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Avanti. So this is not a rhetorical question. This is just a wish, a loving wish, if you will, the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. We're now going to silently and mentally recite the concise version of the same wish as we breathe in. And as we exhale, we're going to physically relax as best we can while chanting this 12-syllable mantra. That's okay. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri 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 Om. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri 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 So I'm going to interrupt our practice for 1 moment. So we're wishing good fortune for all beings, circumstances, especially the people who are enduring genocides in Europe, and Africa, and the Middle East. For people who are enduring homelessness or exploitation here in the country where we dwell. Let's continue. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri 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 It would be awesome if we were each Gandalf the Grey and could wave her hand and do magic. If, at the very least, all this exercise does is strengthen our neural pathways responsible for empathy, that it is successful. May all bodies of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddhist art of the blissful body of a yedam of lore and archetype of enlightenment. Umahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri 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 We live in a world where people die of treatable disorders because of the greed and stupidity of late-stage capitalism. We live in the world where people are murdered and tortured and exploited, which are not good for their health. May all needs be met in the most wonderful way. Umahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri 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 May all relationships of all beings now be as loving and joyful as a real or imagined Buddha's communication symbolized by this 12-syllable mantra. Umahum Vajra Guru Manmaziri 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 Excuse me. May all minds of all beings know be as wise and peaceful as the mind of a Buddha of laws and paralyzed by a one-serable seed bija mantra oti clay drop. Om Vajra Guru Manmaziri 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 Let us rest the mind. Together. May I receive all the blessings and empowerments of enlightened from speech and mind. May I receive all the blessings and empowerments of enlightened from speech and mind. May I receive all the blessings and empowerments of enlightened from speech and mind. Let us place our puckered palms before our forehead. Benzo Guru Gaya Wakati Tasini Let us place our hands palms up in our lap. Benzo Guru Gaya Wakati Tasini Experiencing the empowerment of Amitabha, let us place our puckered palms before our throat. Benzo Guru Kaya Wakati Tasiri Receiving the empowerment of of Ratna Sambhavan, let us place the center of one palm upon our navel and the center of the other palm upon that. Benzo Guru Kaya Wakati Tasiri Receiving the blessing of Akshobhya, let us place our puckered palms before our sternum. Benzo Guru Kaya Wakatsi Tasiri. The Lama dissolves into light and blends with me at our heart's inseparability. I behold the true face of the ultimate Lama, the union of spontaneous awareness and emptiness. The Lama dissolves into light and blends with me in our heart's inseparability. I behold the true face of the ultimate Lama, the union of spontaneous awareness and emptiness. The Lama dissolves into light and blends with me in our heart's inseparability. I behold the true face of the ultimate Lama, the union of spontaneous awareness and emptiness. Let us now let's perform a tantra contemplation of impermanence. Powa means that at the point of death, our mind, in the aspect of a teeny tiny drop at our heart, shoots up our central channel like an arrow from an archer, out our crown, and into the vast expanse. I pray to thee, protector, Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of Powa. Pay! I pray to thee, protector, Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of Powa. Pay! I pray to thee, protector, Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of Powa. Pay! We come to the final tantric contemplation, one of generosity. Puckered palms before our sternum. I now give my body, wealth, and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. Let us seal this morning's practice with some universal well wishes. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.